This place has really been designed around us. It's about having a space that works for you.
Before we even designed this apartment, we had to think about what do we actually need. Everything has a place, down to where the teapot might have its place. So this is a compact apartment, 25 square meters.
This is our living room, our dining room, our hosting space. It's all in one, and so we've had to...
Where we sleep as well.
Yeah, correct, over there.
Sydney's property market has really caused us to think creatively in terms of where we live and how we live.
We have tried to fit out this place so that the storage suits the things that we have, not more, not less.
And that's just being mindful and really questioning, do we really need this and how does it really add value to our life?
Part of using this space well has been incorporating a lot of storage. We've got lots of little nooks and crannies where we can tuck things away. This table can be packed away above the oven. We can reconfigure the space depending on what we're doing and depending on our needs. This screen door here can open out so that you can watch TV while sitting on the couch, or it can close and watch TV from bed. After we wash the dishes, we put them away above the sink. That's a good use of space. We don't have any door handles in the apartment, and it sounds like such a simple thing, but it just means you can move around a lot more freely. To be honest, one of the biggest benefits of living here is how easy this place is to clean. I'd say it takes half an hour to clean the whole place. I mean, it sounds silly, but we really appreciate that because we don't want to spend all our time and energy thinking about maintaining, and having a small, decluttered, very simple place means we can spend time and energy doing other things. Living in a tiny apartment does mean that we don't have our own backyard.
We have an abundance of parks around the area. That's been a big part of why we chose this place. One of the sustainable aspects about living in a compact apartment is that you have a smaller footprint. We're only taking up 12, 13 square meters each, I guess. We need to be conscious about how we live and the way we live in a space, and definitely push for sustainability when we can. As cities grow and land becomes more scarce, compact living is one of the ways you can live in an efficient way. It's not feasible to continuously build new structures. We should rethink the whole process, be considering how we can adapt existing buildings to suit our needs.
Welcome. I'm Bernice Ross, the CEO and President of BrokerageUpFromRealEstateCoach.com, and I'm very happy to welcome Sue Koch. She is a social media success catalyst. Now, Sue, exactly what is that?
So what that means is I like to help business owners, professionals really propel what they're doing on social media and be that catalyst to build their knowledge, reduce their overwhelm, and get them out there so that they can build their brand and do some great business.
Well, Sue, I was very happy to meet you when I spoke at NAR last weekend, and you had this session follow me, and when you sent me your slides, I thought, wow, let's take a look at this, and I'd love to have you on the show because I thought you had one of the best presentations I've ever seen on how to use video into social media. So, one of the things that we see, Sue, is that agents are really reluctant. I don't like the way I look, my hair is not right, my nose is this, or, I don't have, all these excuses. How can they get past that?
Yeah, it's tough, the perfectionism, and then just whatever we might feel like in that particular day, and our self-confidence can keep us from taking those big action steps. What I always recommend to people, and I've seen 4 people immediately after I did this with them, built some comfort level and went ahead and did the video. And that was doing it in a practice mode on your personal Facebook profile, and just turn that camera on yourself, but tap that little public thing and change it to private so that you're only talking to yourself and it won't go live. It's a great opportunity to explore the features of the device, make sure you know how it works, start to say a few things and really build that comfort zone, and then come to realize, hey, this isn't so bad. It's not that difficult. I'm going to go ahead and get started and just give it a try and get something out there. And then once they do that, the responsiveness that they get from people is that second motivator to, okay, hey, I did pretty well. People like that. I'm going to do it again.
So your recommendation is go up to Facebook and start there. That's a terrific takeaway for our listeners. So hit number 1. And when you're practicing, if you get a good one, you can switch it from private to public.
Exactly. Yeah. So if you're practicing going live and you're in private mode and you're like, hey, now I'm motivated, let's do this, go ahead and switch it over and show them what you got.
Now, the next question I have for you, what do our listeners need to do to get prepared before they shoot a video? Because if they're using their phone, there's some things they may need for that. We're shooting today on Zoom, which is a paid platform. I really like that. But what are your recommendations to get prepared?
Yeah, so a great way to get started, and I like to always let people know that, yes, our phones are great devices, and some of the phones today take amazing picture and video. But we're also at the whim of our lighting and the sound. So some of the things that people can do to upgrade, and even on a great budget, are things like selfie lights. There's the little clips that go on the phone so that you can get some good lighting. There's even a phone case that I have where you tap the button and the case lights up so you get a good lighting in front of you. Or just making sure that you're positioned in a way that you don't look like a shadow. Some other things you can do, especially for realtors who perhaps are starting outside, showcasing a neighborhood or the outside of a property, and maybe there's some noise, traffic, or wind. You can get small mic devices that you can attach to the phone that can help to detract from wind, make sure your vocals are a little bit more focused and loud, a good enough volume for your video, and also selfie sticks. So it can be kind of hard to be doing this thing or even holding the phone steadily around a property. So you can get selfie sticks. Again, you can get a great one for $16.99, or if you want something like the Smooth, which helps you balance, a couple $100. But if you're going to be doing it, invest in some good things that will help you produce a really good video, and it can really up the success of your strategy.
You know, it's so funny. My husband he's 6'4" and he has long arms. He's been taking selfies since the 1980s.
Yeah. He's the human selfie
cameras. But that's a great suggestion about the selfie sticks and getting the Smooth, because what you're going to get is that kind of jittery, your hands aren't always steady, but that smooths it out. Also, I want to go back to this little thing about the case. Where did you find that? I've never seen one of those. That one that lights up around and you've got
you can see this. So my phone case right here, if I tap that button.
Oh my, look at that. And so for those of you who are listening in on radio, you're not going to get to see this, but this is great.
So yeah, my boyfriend actually got me this on eBay for $5.99 and it works great.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's something that is what a great suggestion for video. Now, I want to move on to talk about how to prepare and get past the reluctance. But then you mentioned Facebook. A lot of people don't realize that you can repurpose your content and post it, something that's slightly different on Facebook. On LinkedIn, by the way, for a professional, to get more professionals, you really want to be looking at LinkedIn. But Instagram, some of the others, Twitter. What are some of the differences between those sites in terms of what to post, how long, and the kind of content that you want to use?
Yeah, absolutely. There's so many different platforms. And now even on one platform, there's different modes and sizes. So if we're talking about Facebook or Instagram, the post itself may have one sizing. And then if you're doing a story, which is that ephemeral content that stays there at the top of your profile for 24 hours, that is a different size. So let's say you're going live on Facebook, or you're just doing a video for Facebook or LinkedIn. You want that to be in horizontal mode. So you want your phone or to use your laptop. But if you're going to do a story on Instagram or Facebook, you want to turn that and do that in portrait mode so that it's sized accordingly with that length to fit into the story feature. So those are some of the things that you want to look at, and is to make sure that if you're doing an Instagram square, a layout that's similar on Facebook or LinkedIn, or that portrait mode positioning. Then the other thing you want to think about is the durations that are available. So even Instagram and Facebook, even though Facebook owns Instagram, and Instagram's story, you have 15 seconds, a Facebook story, you have 30 seconds, and then the videos themselves that you can just upload to the different platforms also have different time limits. But we always want to we want to give someone something powerful that they grab onto in those first 3 seconds, but still keep it short because our attention span is short these days. We're moving on to that next thing. So always think about what can you do in a powerful 30-second video or a minute and a half video, perhaps, if it's a Facebook or LinkedIn feed, and consider how those things appeal to the different audiences on those different channels.
Wow, what great suggestions. Now, where can I find out on each of those sites? Where do they give me the guidelines about what should fit, or do they?
Yeah, well, one of the things, if you'd like to share a snapshot with of the outline that I had on that PDF that gives that comparison, you can feel free to do that. If you want to look, though, you want to make sure if you're new to video on any of the social channels, just go into the help and look for, or even just Google, LinkedIn visual media requirements, or how long can my video be on Twitter. You can always find those things on Google. You can find them in the help of the platform itself. And I'll share that little grid that I've got as well with you or on social media so that people can have that as a resource.
Well, that would be great if you could send that to me. I know our readers would be happy to see that. Now, video can take up quite a bit of storage. In fact, I'm watching my storage in my laptop go down, 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 especially for videos. What are some of the options for storage, taking that off my laptop and storing it elsewhere? What do you recommend?
Yeah, I am myself a big fan of Google Drive or Dropbox because with both of those, there's a lot of storage and you can also upgrade for a reasonable price. I think Dropbox, you can spend like $99 a year and have enough storage to manage the videos that you're doing. Same thing with Google Drive. If you're using the professional version for, I think, $10 a month, you can have all kinds of storage where you can keep that off of your laptop, off of your desktop, and make sure that you keep that space available. So it's also a great way that you can store those videos for reuse and repurpose later, or share them with other people who might be on your team supporting your social media implementation. So you place those videos up there, save the space, share the links with any assistants that you might have to support you on social media, and that's a great process to have in place.
Well, Sue, the other thing I want to encourage people to do is to back up your videos onto a hard drive because cloud systems fail sometimes.
Yes, that is
true. It doesn't
true.
always happen, but they can, and you don't want to have, and if it's not sitting on your laptop, it better be sitting somewhere else.
Yeah.
Now, if you've posted it on your site, you can probably download it again, but still, it's better to have it where you can get at it more easily. And that's, instead of trying to go back and grab everything for the last 3 or 4 years.
Absolutely. Because like you said,
back up your computer, good golly, they fail.
Yeah. You always have to have backup plans, and you can buy those little devices too, small pack, and it's got terabytes of storage. You can pop them on there and make sure you're protected.
Yeah, those are great.
Yeah.
So one of the things we kind of briefly talked about is repurposing your video content across multiple platforms. So how might I take one video that I've done and use it on maybe LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram and Twitter? How can I go about doing that?
Yeah, absolutely. So one thing you can do is, for if you're somebody who likes to go live on Facebook, let's say, and you do a Facebook Live, what you can then do is download that video, and then you can maybe give it a couple of days, go ahead then and upload it to LinkedIn. And another way to give it a nice refresh is, as you know, when we post a video, it always kind of stops on that thumbnail. And sometimes that can be a challenge. But what we can do is use tools like Canva. Canva.com is a great resource where you can sort of, be your own graphic designer with some really great templates. But what you can do then is create a little video thumbnail that you can use so that when you repurpose that video on different social channels, you can give it a little bit of a different look. So you kind of freshen it up. You can maybe even put a little call to action or a quote or something on that image so that it looks a little bit different each time you post it.
So what you're saying then is to use something like Canva, or just to change kind of the front end of it so it looks a little bit different.
Yeah.
And you could just shoot a second video and then link them to those two up. You have, like me, you've got to hire someone to do this. Radio shows I can edit, but video is like beyond my pay grade.
Yeah, and again, you can certainly just, if you do a video and just put it on YouTube, use that link on one channel, later put it on Twitter, but change up your copy a little bit. So maybe that lead in is something else, another, intriguing tip on each one so that it's a little bit different. But definitely reuse and repurpose and make that time that you spent go a long way.
Now, what are some of the platforms that agents may want to use to create their videos? As I mentioned, we're using Zoom. There's some, today, I like that. I think it's under $100, $150 a year, and they create audio files which you can repurpose into podcasts, and of course you can repurpose your video. What are you suggesting? Which ones do you like?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Zoom as well. For people who like to go live on Facebook, Ecamm and BeLive are also really great tools for that. One of the cool things that Ecamm and BeLive allow you to do is if you're going to do, let's say you do a weekly Friday show on Facebook, you can schedule it out ahead of time so that those applications will let people know, hey, this is coming, and go ahead and RSVP and send them a reminder to get on when you go live. And then you can also package those up and use those videos elsewhere as well.
Well, that's a great suggestion, because if I'm just shooting like in Zoom, I'm not going to go remind people that this is coming. But if it's sitting on my Facebook page or on Instagram, and you're doing something, then that you get that added messaging of what's coming to the group. So that's, great takeaway on that one.
It's a great way to let people know. And another great tool that I love, and especially for people who are getting started doing video but maybe don't want to be the face of their video, is a tool called Ripple. It's an app, RIP.L. And basically what you can do with that is you can upload a bunch of pictures of a property, say for example, or a neighborhood or an event, and you upload those pictures to the app. It creates a video with little, frames that flow in and out of each image, and you can put music to it. You can put your branding on it, and then you've created a nice little video that perhaps showcases each room of a property with your branding and music. And social media likes the video media, and that's a great way to get something out there until you get that comfort zone of being the face of your videos.
Well, I love this idea of Ripple. It's RIP.L. Is that correct? RIP.L. Is there a charge for that service?
No, it's actually free. And the great thing about it is even on the free version, you can put your little branded logo on there. And then there's certainly upgrades that you can purchase if you want to get a little bit more, savvy on it. But it's a great thing to start for free and practice with getting your videos out there. So
is this something now you mentioned that I can upload my video, but I can also upload pictures that will make a video? Is that what you were saying?
Exactly.
So, we just got back from a cruise, so I could, what's the limit on the number of pictures I can upload? I guess there's a limit with the freemium versus the premium.
Yeah, you'll have a little difference, but I think the free version has 10 that you can put up. I believe. Don't quote me on that, but yeah, there'll be a limit, and then the upgraded versions allow you to do a little bit more with it.
Well, that's 10 is normally enough to get you a really good snapshot of a house. So that's a great takeaway on that. So I like that. RIP.L. Just give me all kinds of great suggestions.
These are fun tools to play with.
You recommend that agents measure for success. Exactly what are you measuring when you're doing this?
Yeah, so of course the first thing comes to mind, everyone's like, how many likes did I get, right? And sure, that's nice. But what we really want to see is, did people engage with it? Did people comment with a question indicating that they're interested in the property or want to hear more about doing business with you? Did people share it with somebody else? Because it's all about getting that referral, right? So if you're doing some great video and people are sharing this and doing things like, hey, somebody in my network was interested. I'm sharing this with you guys. You should get to know Bernice and take a look at this property. So those things are important. Also, especially if you share a link that goes to a listing or an appointment setting feature, you want to see, are people clicking on that link to make this appointment with me? So each of these things take that engagement to that next level that gets you closer to that ROI. Is really taking that action and that indication of, I want to see this property, I want to do business with you, I want to hire you. And, the different social channels have different statistics that you can see. Another cool one, though, on YouTube is if you do video consistently, you can see on YouTube where people drop off. which is an indicator of, am I sharing things that are interesting, or am I doing something at a certain point in time that is causing people to depart? So take a look at the videos that keep people's attention, and then take a look at the ones that perhaps don't. And then you can really cater your strategy going forward to keep doing what works.
Well, I want to go back, especially on YouTube. What's the suggested length on those? If you're doing kind of just marketing stuff, but that's 15 to 30 seconds for the most part.
Yeah, YouTube is also, you can upload videos that, I think depending on your channel, you can upload videos up to, I think, an hour. But if you're newer and just kind of keeping people's attention for quick branding, you want to keep it to about 120 seconds is what the HubSpot study says. 120 seconds to really keep people's engagement. And then if you're doing longer webinars or learning sessions, you can upload that to YouTube as well.
Well, YouTube, the great thing about YouTube is it cleans up everything. If there's problems with your platform or whatever, YouTube just kind of makes it where everybody can share it. That's one of the things I've always liked about it.
Yeah, regardless of channel, you can share it, find it on Google. Great for search engine optimization too.
Sue, so what's your final takeaway from today?
Yeah, well, we kind of started off chatting a bit, and I had mentioned that the statistic says that 73% of home buyers and sellers are looking for realtors that are using video. So even if you start doing it yourself, that's an indicator to your clients, your potential clients, that you've got this great marketing savvy that's going to help you stand out as a realtor, but that's also going to help take your clients to that next level. So my recommendation would be, if you're already doing it, awesome. Make sure to measure it, see what's working, and do more of that. If you haven't dipped a toe in that water yet and you're feeling a little bit self-conscious about it, start with a tool like Ripple that lets you use pictures. Just at least get that indication to your clients and your network that this is something I'm ready to do. I want to grow my business with it, and I want to help my clients sell their homes with it too.
Now, Sue, if our listeners want to reach you, where do they need to go?
Yes, they can follow me on any social channel at Sue Koch Catalyst, or find me at suekoch.com, or email me at sue@suekoch.com.
And you spell your last name Koch. So
Correct.
SUEKOCH.com. Sue, this has been a just absolutely fantastic session with so many excellent takeaways for the people who have tuned in for this. Thank you so much for sharing.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for having me. It was such a pleasure to meet you, and I'm glad we crossed paths in Boston, and I hope that people have learned a lot from some of these tips today.
Well, I know they have if they pay attention, and of course the big thing is the implementation. Thank you for being with us today. This has been terrific.
Thank you, Bernice. Have a wonderful day.
Well, one of my objectives for this year as a business was to travel for 50% of the year and to increase my profits by 50%. The first thing I do when I get anywhere, doesn't matter if I'm there for one night, I will unpack. I'll get everything out of my bag, pop in the drawers, and make me feel like that's my room and feels like home that way. The best thing about being a digital nomad is being able to prioritise life over work and really living it to its absolute max. My average work would be around 4 to 5 hours a day. Has definitely made me more efficient, can fit into a day what I would fit into a week in an office. There's no interruptions of people coming to your desk, phone calls. So my top tips for travel would definitely be to travel light and don't take a carry-on suitcase, take a really lightweight bag. Secondly, would be to try and stay in routine, whether that's having the same breakfast, working in exercise. It'll keep you from getting exhausted. The best way to keep in touch with my friends and family when I'm away is definitely through social media. I think the way the world's moving in terms of business, everyone's really mobile, and I think work-life balance is something that people really value. My main learnings is that I should have done it earlier. I thought it was going to be really hard to do. I think with technology that's around and the openness of people to do business and communicate in those ways, it's actually not that hard. You've just got to give it a go and stop talking about doing it and just do it.